The George Washington University Law School Small Business and Community Economic Development Clinic is an award-winning transactional business law clinic. The clinic does not engage in any litigation. Instead, it supports local businesses, the backbone of America. Many local and neighborhood small businesses are struggling in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. At the same time, new local businesses and community-serving nonprofits are emerging and seeking legal assistance. Each semester, the clinic receives applications for pro bono legal help from a diverse group of worthy clients who are unable to afford the high cost of legal services. To that end, the Small Business and Community Economic Development Clinic represents small businesses, micro businesses, social enterprises, that is, businesses that have a social impact, and nonprofits with important educational and charitable purposes. Students may enroll in the clinic for 4, 5, or 6 credits, which represents 14, 17, or 20 hours a week over the course of a 13-week academic semester. During this time, students represent clients with respect to a host of business legal needs. Student attorneys working under the supervision of a clinical professor have direct responsibility for clients. They interview and counsel clients, review and draft corporate legal documents, such as articles of incorporation and bylaws, or articles of organization and operating agreements for limited liability companies. Students also review and draft contracts and help clients with regulatory compliance and intellectual property issues. In addition to learning and applying substantive law to the facts of various cases, students work in teams, learning the importance of leadership, collaboration, and teamwork in the practice of law. The course prerequisites are corporations and federal income tax, which must be completed before registering for the clinic. Students must submit an application and, if selected, attend a virtual personal interview prior to being selected for final participation in the clinic. Thank you for your interest in the Small Business and Community Economic Development Clinic. Please be sure to review the clinic information sheet. I hope the short video answers most common questions, but feel free to email me at susanjones@law.gwu.edu if you have questions. Thank you.
I'm still a law student. I'm currently a 3L at GW, and I'll talk a little bit about my experience 2L and 3L, and then really dive into how Clinic has helped me shape my young legal career. As a 1L, I participated in a number of competitions, and I earned spots on the moot court board, on a journal, the Alternative Dispute Resolution Board, and I know I'm talking about Clinic, but field placement wise, I've participated in a number of internships like at the SEC, the DOJ, and Senate Judiciary Committee. But from the beginning of law school, I was always interested in GW's Small Business and Community Economic Development Clinic, and I participated in that last semester. So coming into GW, I understood that Clinic was a way to really work with clients and shape your legal career. And a lot of times in law school, you focus on classes like civil procedure, constitutional law, litigation-based classes. And there are fewer, though there are numerous opportunities to participate in transactional work, whether that be the small business clinic or whether that be your coursework. But I met Professor Jones early on, and Professor Jones is the director of the Small Business Clinic, and she really inspired me and inspired the students I worked with to participate in this clinic. In this clinic, we worked with a lot of small businesses and a lot of different organizations in the DC community, like cooperatives, worker cooperatives, and small businesses and family-run businesses. And we do everything from working on tax matters, advocating on whether or not a nonprofit can lobby, drafting contracts for people who are sole proprietor businesses who want to work in the community, and when I got to clinic, I was able to do all of these things, and really it was so much different from law school, where you're just creating these hypothetical situations, to actually doing it in real life. When my clinic team, so clinic, in my clinic, we had 8 students and we were in 2 teams. So I remember meeting our first client for the first time and realizing that, this is a real person with their own business coming to you with these questions that they don't have answers to, and you need to find answers to. So to talk about skills that you get from clinic, being able to communicate with clients, being able to counsel clients on, can you get answers to these questions? And then what are the answers to these questions, are things that help me shape my legal career. And I think that goes for all of the clinics, both the clinics that Ashley and I participated in. Fortunately, I was able to get postgraduate employment prior to participating in clinic, because I was a 3L. I'll be working at Kirkland & Ellis in New York after school, but even in my own group at the firm I'll be going to, there are people that have participated in the small business clinic, both in my group and in other groups. I think I've met 5 people already that have participated in my clinic or other clinics at the firm, which just goes to show you the practical experience and the connection you can build. So clinic has been a really great experience. I've recommended it to my friends and they've loved it as well. And you can really use clinic to gain practical skills, as well as connect with people at law firms that may interview you. And in my first interview, someone who interviewed me was in the small business clinic, though I wasn't in it yet. So law school, as many of you one else may be doing, are balancing litigation, transactional, and different practice areas of law, as I did. And when I did, I was leaning a little bit more towards non-litigation roles and what those were. So when I looked for experiences and opportunities outside of courses, clinic was probably the most prominent opportunity that stood out, particularly the Small Business and Community Economic Development Clinic. I had done some prior work as an undergraduate student working with community economic development. So both for career opportunities and just personally, it really resonated with me. Though I was able to get postgraduate employment prior to clinic, as I said in my intro, the people who interviewed me for screening interviews, there were individuals who participated in clinics that were different, and then one particular individual who participated in the same clinic. And in the interview, we connected over Professor Jones and her impact on me as a 1L, and her impact on my interviewer. And we were able to talk about the experiences that you get and the skills you learn from clinic, because whatever clinic you're in, you understand that seldom as a law student, you get to work with real clients, and real problems. So in one of my classes, I had to draft agreements and contracts, and, I got a grade in that class, but in my clinic, I had to draft agreements and contracts for a client that they would use, that if that contract is breached, they would have to go into a real life mediation or settlement, or may possibly get sued. So it's a really good way to, in speaking about marketability, it's a really good way to show or display that, not only can I do this in the classroom, but I have done this as a law student in real practice. And you have your professors there to guide you along the way, but it's something, whether it's just on your resume or something you talk about, something you can show to show that you got that real experience. And that's something that I wasn't able to find outside of the classes. So whether it's clinic or field placement, that's really a way to show that you're using the skills already.
Good morning, everybody. This is Basil Musharbash, coming to you from beautiful Paris, Texas. I am a community development attorney. I just started my own firm, and I focus on real estate law and local government law. And I'm really excited to be with you today because the clinic was such a huge part of my transition to practice. I was in the Small Business and Community Economic Development Clinic basically my entire 3L year, literally. And so I'm really excited to be with you today and to tell you a little bit about the work that I got to do and the clients that I worked with, because that was the most important part for me. I'll start with the clients, because I think that's the most special thing about the Small Business Clinic specifically. I got to work with a wide range of clients. There was an artists cooperative that was trying to help artists control their artwork and also monetize it and making a living with it. In the DC area, there was a traditional small business bookshop with a social impact. There was a group of concerned citizens who wanted to form a community development entity and eventually make it into a community development financial institution that invests and brings capital into the greater DC area for various good causes. And beyond sort of the direct client work, we also did research with Ashoka Foundation, which focuses on social entrepreneurs. And so there was just such a wide range of client work that I think the interesting thing about it is that we just got to work with a range of different people and understand how to deal with that in law practice. And that gets to the second aspect, which is the work itself that I got to do and what it meant to me or how it helped me. I'll say that like the three major aspects of the work that I would emphasize today are contract drafting, client interviewing, and client research. In terms of contract drafting, I think that's the most hard skill you get, but and it's very, very important in transactional contexts. What the clinic does is teach you how to approach drafting a contract. That's what I learned from it. Contracts are not friendly documents to most people, and what the clinic helps you become familiar with how to find precedent documents, how to understand precedent documents, and then how to change them so that they fit the client's needs. And that was foundational to that was very important to forming the different kinds of entities that needed to be formed for our clients, to drafting different types of contractual arrangements that our clients were engaging in, as well as doing a range of other transactional things for our clients. So contract drafting, very good opportunity to develop those skills in law school. The second thing, which is related, I think, is client interviewing. And I will say that this is something that I realize is more and more important as I practice longer. The clinic emphasizes client-centered lawyering, and you learn a lot about how to interview clients and dig in to get information from clients. You learn a lot about how to tailor information so that you're communicating with clients well. And these things, it's hard to learn them elsewhere, and you'll get more mentorship in the clinic, and I got more mentorship in the clinic in that respect than I got anywhere else, and will get going forward. I'm pretty confident. So that was really foundational, and I've sort of carried that idea of client-centered lawyering with me, or those principles with me, and they've been incredibly useful. So that is the second thing. And the third and last thing I'll mention is that the clinic taught me how to research for clients. Clients often don't just need you to research legal issues, they also need you to learn to research practical issues of how to get something done. And I had to do that for the community development entity, I had to do that for other clients, and it was just a great way to, understand how to approach that kind of research when you need to do it, when you need to call somebody, when you need to go to Google, when you go to other sources, that sort of thing. So it was very, very useful in that regard, and I just recommend it endlessly. So I hope this was useful to you. I hope you consider the Small Business Clinic, and thank you so much. I hope this was helpful.